CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Pastrana and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Right now, an investigation is underway in Northwest Miami-Dade. We're being told that this was a police-involved shooting, resulting in one person being rushed to the hospital. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench has the latest.
We are at the scene of a police-involved shooting in Northwest 95th Street and 31st Avenue. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue says that the man who was shot was taken to the Ryder Trauma Center just before noon. We spoke with a witness who saw everything, and he says that the man who was taken to the hospital had been firing his weapon into the air before police confronted him.
I heard about 5 shots, 4 or 5 shots. And then I'm telling these people, they start call the 911 because he could kill somebody, Then the guy walk away, and he go to the other store. And so somebody already called the cops. And then, but that was quick, attention from the police because they got here very quick. That was self-defense by the police, yeah.
You think he might have shot again? You just don't know,
right? We never saw that guy around here.
Yeah. The witness who we spoke with, who believes that police fired in self-defense, says that the man who was shot was about 25 or 26 years old. Miami-Dade police are planning to hold a briefing in this case, and they say the shooting will be investigated by FDLE, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, which is standard procedure in such cases. We'll have much more on this story tonight, starting live at 5. In Northwest Miami-Dade, Peter Dench, CBS News, Miami.
Now, a major break in the murder investigation of rapper Tupac Shakur nearly 30 years later. Law enforcement sources say they've arrested a suspect in the unsolved murder. The source says Dwayne Keith Davis is now in custody and facing charges in the 1996 murder. Police searched Davis's home last July as part of the ongoing investigation. Tupac was killed in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. He died days later from his injuries. He was just 25 years old. New developments on a story we've been following on our CBS News Miami Quickcast. Defense lawyers in the YNW Melly double murder case are demanding a dismissal of the charges, accusing prosecutors of withholding incriminating information about their lead detective. The motion was one of a dozen filed by attorneys for the Florida rapper, whose real name is Jamel Demons. The judge presiding over the case now says he will consider the motions, but only after prosecutors have adequate time to respond. YNW Melly's retrial is set to begin on October 19th.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And now to Hialeah, where a funnel cloud was spotted today. A CBS News Miami viewer sent us this video. Quite the sight, especially this time of year. Next Weather meteorologist Cindy Presser joins us now with more. Cindy, we just want a break from the rain.
I know. Every single day we're dealing with this, and today the atmosphere is especially juiced. So we've got a lot of showers and thunderstorms, and again we're dealing with some flooding, some flood advisory still in effect here. And by the way, that little funnel cloud this afternoon, no problem. It was small. We just had some updrafts that developed at that time, and it was backlit very beautifully, so a lot of folks saw it. That was in the Hialeah area, and again, it did not touch down or cause any problems, but it was interesting to see. We have a flood advisory, 2 of them. This one to the north until 4:45, but this one until 5 o'clock, and that's really where the rain has been sitting. These storms have been holding stationary, very little bit movement, now developing a little bit back to the west, now getting out here in the Everglades, but this area has picked up anywhere from 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches of rain in spots. Miami Lakes in particular, there's been some street flooding here, north around Hollywood, then you get to the north of the Fort Lauderdale area toward Pompano Beach. So we picked up heavy rain again today. The atmosphere is just packed full of moisture, and it's tropical moisture. Now you get these little outflow boundaries going. The sea breeze front came in, and that's why you've got these showers and storms. You get down here into Miami-Dade County, south of Homestead, we still have some rain there. A lot of this is now making its way off to the west. So temperature now 81 degrees, but tied the record high today, 93 degrees. That record has been standing since 1958. So very hot, lots of humidity, and lots of juice. These little showers will come to an end by by early evening. Will be dry overnight. And then here we go again. Saturday, southeasterly flow pumping in the moisture. We don't have a front coming through, so these showers and storms will be scattered throughout the area. As far as the timing on it, anytime during the day you could get in on some of this rain. Saturday night looks how it kind of backs off but kind of clings along the coastal areas. Sunday is actually expected to be the wetter day due to an upper level disturbance that's crossing the area as well. So expect Sunday to be a wet day, which is different. We thought this would be a drier day, but that frontal system kind of holding back. So best time for rain tomorrow, and really these rain chances are about 30, 40, maybe 50% chance, 10 a.m. to about 4 p.m. We're going to watch those showers and thunderstorms. And again tomorrow, another heavy rainfall threat. It'll be limited, but it goes all the way down to southern Miami-Dade County, so that is 6 days in a row that we've had that threat. Rain chances the next couple of days, Saturday, Sunday, 50 to 60% chance, backing off by Monday. And then next week, finally, that's when we should get some drier air in here. Tropics, interesting with Philippe, and we have Rena. It looks like Philippe is going to win out here. Rena going to get eaten up by Philippe, but neither one of these is a threat to anything. So we're going to watch that sitting out there in the Atlantic, just kind of spinning around as a fish storm. Highs over the next few days around 90 degrees, good chance for rain through the weekend, and then the drier air comes in. That's going to be a nice change.
Can't wait for that change. Cindy, thank you. When we come back, the clock is ticking as Congress scrambles to reach an agreement on a spending bill. What lawmakers on both sides are saying next. Happening now, the countdown to a government shutdown. The U.S. government will run out of funding in less than 36 hours unless Congress acts fast. With less than 2 days to go until the government shuts down, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he will introduce a short-term spending bill known as a continuing resolution to keep the government open while Congress works on long-term spending plans. But he doesn't appear to have the votes, meaning millions of Americans will soon feel the impact of a government shutdown. CBS News Miami's Nicole Ganga has more from Capitol Hill.
Alice Silver can smile while she watches her kids play, but that grin fades when she thinks about what's looming.
Times are hard as it is, and a paycheck being missed is a big problem.
Silver's husband is one of more than 1 million members of the military who's facing the prospect of working without pay and potentially choosing between feeding their families or paying their bills. She had a message for members of Congress who will still be receiving paychecks during the shutdown.
Make a decision, get their stuff together and think about us real people who have real problems and real bills to pay.
The House is moving forward on a short-term bill to keep the government open, but far-right Republican members say they'll vote against the bill.
My stance isn't trying to shut the government down. It's trying to shut off the unlimited spending of the federal government's credit cards.
Those same GOP hardliners are threatening to vote out Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House, even as he's moved more and more to the right over time to accommodate them, but to no avail.
Members say they only want to vote for individual bills, but they hold me up all summer and won't let me bring individual bills up. Then they say they won't vote for a stopgap measure that keeps government open. So I don't know, where do you go in that scenario? Have you ever seen that?
Hundreds of thousands of federal workers will be furloughed during a shutdown, and millions more, like TSA screeners, will have to work without pay.
People who don't get paid to come into work sometimes don't come into work, even if they're asked to. So getting through an airport could be hard, getting a passport could be hard.
The shutdown takes effect at 12:01 a.m. on Sunday morning. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
A member of the Proud Boys who went missing days before sentencing has been captured in Florida. Christopher Worrell was taken into custody last night in Naples. He was convicted on 7 charges related to his actions during the January 6th Capitol insurrection. Worrell was under house arrest before he went missing. He was facing 14 years in prison. Now to Fins on CBS Miami. The Miami Dolphins had a record-setting game last Sunday when they put up 70 points on Denver in the Fins home opener. This Sunday, they face their AFC rival Buffalo Bills on the road. Here's Mike Cunio and Steve Goldstein with more on the big game.
Head coach Mike McDaniel said in one of his press conferences this week, check your pulse. I don't think fans really need to do that when it's the Bills and the Dolphins, but here we are, another AFC East rivalry game. Goldie, the division has gone through Buffalo the last 3 years. Has Miami surpassed them without even playing them? Or, all due respect to the Bills, they still got to be able to beat them in the regular season?
Well, I think they got to beat them in the regular season. And ultimately, in January, on the 9th, after the season ends, they have to be atop the division. Right. You know, you're the champ until you get knocked off. The Bills are 2-1. They lost that fluky opening game against the Jets, or else they'd be undefeated as well. You want to make the case right now, the Dolphins are the better team? Yeah. Sure, you certainly can after you make history and you score 70 points. But Buffalo, you know, they're thinking, hey, we defend home field, and it's still our division. So I think it still does go through Buffalo.
It'll be interesting what happens this week with the Dolphins offense. You know, against the Broncos, the Dolphins had the 3 fastest players in the NFL on their roster, and we have seen Jalen Waddle back at practice. So we're about to make it the 4 fastest in the NFL. He comes back this week. Goldie, do you think the offense changes? Can they have another big outpouring of points like they did this past week against the Broncos, or do you think that Bills defense is a little tougher?
Well, it's a tougher defense. They might get half, which is still 35. I think if you're the Bills, you're trying to kind of hold them to that.
Kills the average.
I mean, they've had 36 or more in 2 of the 3 games.
Right.
And, you know, one was on the road, so it's up to Buffalo to do it. The speed is deadly. The play calling is unbelievable. And Mike McDaniel, they have so many different weapons. Unfortunately, Craycraft goes out. He got hurt last week, but Jalen Waddle obviously steps in. And just think of it this way, those 4 fast guys, Achane and Mostert and Waddle and Hill, if the elementary schools are opening this morning, like, and you got the light flashing, if they're all running full speed, the cops are pulling them all over.
Yep.
These guys are running 21, 22 miles an hour at top speed with a football, with someone chasing them. It's the most exciting offense I've seen in a very long time in this league.
Living, breathing, speeding tickets. That's what those 4 guys are. Should be another fun one this week as the Dolphins go back on the road. Bills and Dolphins, 1 o'clock. Of course, Goldie, it's a game you can see right here on CBS Miami. Back to you in the studio.
As Mike mentioned, CBS Miami is the official home of the Miami Dolphins, and we are ready for Week 4. We get things started on game day Sunday morning at 11 for the Coach Mike McDaniel show, followed by Dolphins Weekly Live. Then it's kickoff at 1 versus the Bills, and stick around for the 5th quarter post-game show. It's only right here on CBS Miami. Now to the Marlins. The Fish are battling to get a wild card spot, but they may have to wait a little bit longer to finish the job. Miami was held scoreless last night in New York until the 9th when Jazz Chisholm hits this ball off the top of the wall, almost a homer there. The game-tying run crosses the plate. Next batter, Yuli Gurriel, pinch hitting. He delivers. Here comes the go-ahead run, and the Marlins have the lead. And that's when Mother Nature took over. The game was delayed for more than 3 hours before it was eventually suspended. The game, however, will resume on Monday if it's necessary to decide a playoff spot or wild card seeding. The Marlins currently have a half-game lead over the Cubs and hold the tiebreaker. And that's CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS Miami.